Welcome to another Kitchen Sink University. I'm Casey Rochford, and I'm here to contribute a class to the Survival series. Yeah, be tough. So, while I'm not a survival expert, um, I am a biologist, so uh, there's a few things that I can speak to in the survival category. And one of those would be methods for staying warm. So pick a scenario. Maybe you're homeless. Maybe you're lost in the woods. Your car ran out of gas or something. Whatever it is, might be cold out. There's definitely a danger of hypothermia, freezing to death, depending on where you are, how cold it is, how long you're going to be out there. So there's, in some of these situations, there's only so much you can do. You have whatever you have available, but it's always good to try to think outside the box, use your imagination, and uh, make do with whatever you can find around you. I mean, that's just a general rule of thumb. Another one that I stick to, always carry a knife. They're very versatile. Um, they're not really just for defense, they're tools. And you'll see why in some of these situations. So, um, first thing I would start with is really try to layer as much as you can. And not just layer, but you gotta like tuck your shirt in to your pants. You gotta tuck your pants into your socks because anywhere that cold air can creep in, it will. And then you get this convection loss of heat where cold air passes over something warm and the warm air travels toward the cold air and thus leaves your body. So you also, want to try to find some kind of waterproof outer layer. If you don't have that handy, look for any kind of plastic or something, um, anything that water will just roll right off of, for instance. If you're out in the jungle and you find some massive leaf that will fit over you, that'll work too. So you want to focus on uh, the certain parts that generally don't get covered too much, like your head, especially in my case. Uh, Extremities, of course, and in particular the head and the feet, for different reasons. You're thinking, well, my feet are covered, I got shoes on and stuff, but they do tend to sweat a lot. So if you're able to layer your socks up, there's a little bit more room for soaking up that sweat so it doesn't evaporate and take the heat with it. So that's another method that the body has of cooling itself. And your head obviously has a lot of surface area that's exposed to the environment, and you're radiating heat. And if you're moving around, you're going to be working up a bit of a sweat that'll evaporate. Especially while you're moving, you're also getting the convection and the evaporation, and you lose heat real quick that way. But you do want to keep moving as much as possible. The little bit of heat that you might lose from convection and whatnot is negligible in comparison to the fact that your body will be producing more heat if it's active. And another thing you want to try to do if you have food available and a choice in what you're eating, it's best to go for complex carbohydrates. And these are typically like your starchy sugars and things like that, things that the body takes more time to metabolize. And the active metabolism also increases your body temperature. So, a simple carbohydrate like sugar, like, sucrose or whatnot, is okay, but it's going to burn off quicker, especially if you're being active. And proteins are also good just for keeping up your energy. They're long lasting. But as far as heat goes, complex carbohydrates are the best. Small, frequent portions to keep that maintained level of um, metabolism going on. So the last thing I want to go into is it's probably one of the more obvious ones. Try to build fire if you can. If you have a lighter, that makes things a lot easier. If you're stuck without a lighter, there are ways. I won't go into all of them. That's not really my strong suit, let's say. But use your imagination, and you just have to remember three things if you want fire. You need heat, you need fuel, preferably a dry fuel, when we're talking about wood, and oxygen. Of course, there's oxygen in the air, but if you gently blow on it, that will increase the amount of oxygen going to it in a shorter amount of time. So you really want dry fuel, as I mentioned. And let's say you're in the woods and it's raining. Well, you're not going to find much dry wood. But your best bet, and here's where the knife comes in, your best bet is going to be finding dead wood. Snags or nurse logs are the best in that order. Snags are dead trees that are still standing. Nurse logs are dead trees that have fallen over and other things are growing from them. And after that, I would say like fallen branches, and twigs. But what you want to do there is take your knife, peel away bark, whittle away whatever, make something fancy if you want, or don't. But that's going to take the wet layer off. Sure, some water has probably seeped in, especially if it's a branch that's been sitting on the ground for a long time. But it's better than having all that exterior moisture that's fighting against you when you're trying to build fire. So that's just kind of a broad overview. I'm sure Eric might have some thoughts to add to that, but that's been the class for today, is staying warm and emergency outdoor situation. I hope it's been insightful, and I hope it sticks with you if kitchen sink forbid you ever end up in one of those situations. Class dismissed.